and welcome to No Such Thing as a Bad Movie podcast. I'm April Atmansky, and I'm here today with
Justin DeClo
and Colin Cunningham.
And today we're talking about men, some dangerous men.
Oh.
And not dangerous like in a fun way, more like they're going to sexually assault you way.
More like sleazy scumbag men.
Yeah, terrible. All men must die.
It's right there in the title, Dangerous Men.
They're warning you, like, get out of the way. These men are dangerous. Do not hitchhike twice in the same period. You will meet a dangerous man.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, just don't hitchhike. Period.
Period, yeah. But yeah, this movie is really fun if you can get past all the attempted rape. Mm-hmm. That's my thesis on the movie.
And this was a movie. Well, I guess it came out in 2000.
Let's put air quotes around movie.
Quote unquote.
Yeah. Well, this
is an assembly of scenes.
This movie was the bad movie du jour of what, 6 years ago?
Yeah, 2015 maybe?
Yeah, because I remember seeing it at the Royal. Justin, I think you were playing it.
We played it at Laser Blast Film Society.
No, that was the same. Was it one of those like simulcasts where it was like the same night that the Alamo Drafthouse?
No, we just got like the copy that the Alamo Drafthouse had. They didn't do one where it like played everywhere at once.
Because this was released by Drafthouse Films, wasn't it?
It was. Okay. Rest in peace, Drafthouse Films, the distribution arm. I don't believe they exist anymore.
Really?
Oh,
no, they don't do Blu-rays and DVDs and stuff like that. They kind of do it through AGFA, the American Genre Film Archive. But
okay.
So like Dangerous Men, if you want it on Blu-ray, I believe it is very difficult to get at this point because of the
thankfully it's on Tubi for everybody to see.
There you go.
Yeah,
for free.
Well, I remember we rented this years ago, much closer to when it originally was released, and I just rented it off iTunes. Mm-hmm. And I don't believe it's on iTunes. I think it's just on Tubi right now.
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
Tubi's where all trash movies go to die.
Yeah, go to live, Justin, live.
So there's a bit of a story behind this movie. Does anyone know the history?
Probably Justin would know it better than
I do. So this film was released in 5 theaters in 2005, directed by John S. Rad, real name Jahangir Salahi. And unfortunately, he passed away in 2006 or 7, so he didn't even get to see the kind of revitalization of the motion picture. And what's really notable about this film, and you may not even know when you watch it, other than the weird structure, it took 22 years to make. Shot from 1984 to 2005.
No,
I'm going to say
79.
I absolutely could tell.
No, it was 22 years. It wasn't 1979 that it started in.
Okay.
Yeah, so I could tell throughout the movie. It was like, shots of police cars. I'm like, my God, those police cars looks like they were shot in like 1979.
Well, there's a lot of stock footage where you're like, this is not from the same movie, including an explosion that's so good they used twice.
Yeah, and then there's like a shot of guys talking in an office. We can see the calendar is 1995.
But it didn't look like 95. It looked like
the 80s.
But that's just the camera.
It's got that rare treat of like bad movies where you cannot tell, or they look like they're 10 or 20 years older than they actually are.
And
that was
this
made in
movie
the 90s.
Is supposedly, according to the few public access interviews that John S. Rad did during the film's release, was his 3rd American film and his 13th film overall. Now,
I think he fled or ran, I think.
Has not been proven, but a copy of one of his films, If a Leaf Never Falls, which was made in 1976, has popped up on YouTube unsubtitled.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But no reference to the other films he made has ever been found. So one of the titles they believe is just Dangerous Men, with different footage in it, but it's gone.
So did whoever found this movie and put it back together call it Dangerous Men?
No, I think he did.
It was called Dangerous Men. Yeah, so he put it in theaters in 2005.
He bought out these theaters and showed the movie, and then he died, and then I think Drafthouse Films bought it afterwards and released it.
So where'd they
I wonder how they found it. Who had the negative of it?
I did read interviews with his daughter.
Okay, so maybe she had it. That
it's quite possible.
Right.
Yeah, there was a whole article on it in I think in Variety or something like that, which was really really funny. Where she was saying that at one point in the movie the girl pushes a car off a cliff or down a hill, which explodes. And that was actually her car from when she was a teenager.
Yeah, and her dad did not tell her that he was using it for that reason.
Well, he said, she dated a guy that he didn't approve of. And he's like, fine, I'm taking my car back. And she didn't know what happened to it until she saw the movie in 2005. She saw it going off the cliff.
Threw it over a cliff. And then it exploded. It didn't really explode.
Well, something exploded.
I mean, we'll talk through this movie, but it is all over the place. It's almost like a relay race, like they're passing the baton to new characters.
It is, yeah. It's like, the band Menudo is like some of them die.
As someone pointed out, I listened to the commentary, and they're like, the freeze frame of the movie features all characters we have only met in the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, that was one of my notes.
Yeah, like the freeze frame at the end.
Yeah, it is, because at one point, the main character from the beginning completely disappears from the movie and never shows up again.
So, the character's name is Mina, and supposedly she did a stunt where she broke her leg, and the production did not pay for it, and she's like, I'm not coming back.
Well,
they're like, fine, we'll get new characters.
I thought it was more like because it took so long to finish,
I mean, that's probably another factor as well.
Like they just changed the story based on like what they could film or who they could get back years and years later, and it was just like, well, maybe the cop is now after this other guy now, and we'll make it about him and not about his dead brother's fiance.
You mean you don't think it was all planned, that it was going to lead up to black pepper from the beginning?
No, it definitely seems like it was
slow
made
build
up.
to the black pepper.
It seems like they made it up as they were shooting.
Yeah, this was
they definitely were.
This was definitely the prequel. This is like a black pepper origin story.
I would just love to know, like, John S. Rad, he's like nursing this baby for so long. Like, what was he getting out of it? Like, did he think that he was going to have like a film that he could sell and make tons of money with?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
in 2005, what are you gonna? Who's gonna watch this movie? It's just it's so bizarre.
Well, you need like people like us. Like you need like the bad movie boom.
I don't know if that existed.
I know
in
2005 it was in its infancy. But it is very similar to like Samurai Cop in that it's kind of like
do I have an anecdote for you? So the director of this was very good friends with the director of Samurai Cop.
Amir Shervan?
Yes, and I believe that Amir Shervan claimed that he was on set every day of shooting of this, which took 22 years, because they were both Iranian, so they were both friends.
Right,
yeah,
right.
so because it has the same feel of like, an Iranian person trying to do an American action movie, and their kind of idea of this like hyper masculinity, very, you could tell like the actors weren't given very good direction, but it has heart.
I guess.
Well, it has that thing where usually someone making a movie in not their own language, and no one's kind of like guiding them, where like there's no contractions when anybody speaks.
Yeah.
Like it's all exactly what's written on the page.
But even the main cop character, who, I don't know, he kind of reminds me of like Scott Baio, but he has these big pasted on eyebrows. Like they're very
eyebrows
strange.
are so funny.
Eyebrows.
He seems like he's American at first, and then you kind of hear him talking the odd time, and some of his inflections are off. And he's like, what am I supposed to do? Like sit at home, sit on my hands and wiggle my toes.
Twiddle my thumbs.
So I believe the
and wiggle my
movie
toes.
starts with him, doesn't it? Because there's some confusing jumping back and forth at the beginning between brothers David and Daniel, who look very similar to each other.
Which I was 100% convinced were the same people.
So
yes,
the
I
issue
was
is
up until a point.
They cast them too well. They look too similar. They look too much like brothers that we can't tell who is who.
I wonder if they assumed at one point that they could get away with like, oh, you'll just pick up the storyline of this other guy.
Yeah, maybe he could just step in and
I don't know. I think if you put them like side by side, you'd be able to tell. But I think the fault is really in the editing.
Yes. I mean, the film starts with what looks like a home intruder. We follow his feet, goes upstairs, and then it's a classic. Doesn't this happen in Fateful Findings as well? The Neil Breen movie, where they.
I think it's in whatchamacallit.
It's not. It's the one after Fateful Findings.
Twisted Pair.
Yes, where the woman's like, oh, why do you have to do it this way?
Yeah,
he's
going to sexually assault this woman, and then it's like, it's their anniversary.
They were just playing.
Just play fighting.
And then the couple here are like, I love you so much. And we get like a little montage, shots of the sky, pan down to them making out.
So the couple in the house at the beginning.
Is this before the opening credits?
Oh, yeah, we got to talk about the credits a little bit.
Okay, first of all, it's a John S. Rad film because his goddamn name is like every single credit.
Counted. So it's a John S. Rad film. Next credit. Created and written by John Rad. Next credit. Produced John Rad. Original music, songs and lyrics, John Rad.
John S. Rad.
executive producer John Rad. No, only the A Film By has John S. Rad.
It's like a Hideo
okay.
Kojima movie
Yeah.
or something like that.
Or
His name is
directed
all
by
over the
The
place.
Room.
John Rad. It's like, all right, we get it.
That is the hallmark of a good movie.
Yeah, it's well. Thankfully, he put like music, lyrics, and what was the third part of the music thing all in one credit.
Yeah.
he could have easily split them up or done like
pull the
sneaky
things
credits.
like Things Theme Song by Barry Gillis.
Also, this movie has one of the greatest soundtracks of all time.
Oh my God.
And that's my favorite thing.
There is one song where
Don't you mean Theme from Dangerous Men?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there are multiple good songs.
There are,
and then there's
yeah.
a couple of really bad songs.
but the dum,
yeah.
dum,
Yeah.
dum,
So catchy. I love it so much.
But it starts out, yeah, so
I
I love the way the music plays like into the next scene. And it's as if the guy's like, whoa, sorry, the music's still on. He like takes the needle off and drops the next one.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like he's scoring it live or playing the music back live.
But then
while the,
sometimes it'll just cut in the middle of a song and the next scene just has no music at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like it, yeah. So there's a combination of that.
And the music never matches what's going on in the scene either.
oh no, it's wildly inappropriate.
It could be like a scene of attempted sexual assault, and it's like,
Yeah, or there'll be like a scene that's like an action scene, and it's like that like ballad song.
yeah.
lyrics
very,
written by
very
John
strange.
Rad.
When does the convenience store robbery?
Well, that
Yeah,
happens
so-
after a love montage where they're like,
so we have the
I
man.
love you so much, Mina. Sometimes it scares me.
This scene
Shot
is-
of a unity sign on
yeah,
a building.
This scene is funny because it's like they're in the restaurant. This couple, completely different couple, which I did not know.
But it's also
Oh,
so
I
dark.
thought it was them.
It's
yeah, it's
no.
not.
So the cop and his wife at the beginning, completely different couple.
Yeah.
This is his brother and his fiance in the very next
The
scene.
only reason that I know any of this is because I've seen this 3 times.
Yeah, and it finally clicked on the third time. So, and the brother and the fiance are at this restaurant. You'd think they're in a black void. It's so pitch black, but the audio is completely silent. And anytime they talk, they crank the audio up, and you
Yeah.
can tell that it's a super busy restaurant. It's just like,
Yeah, so it's
and then they
silent,
immediately like
and then
die,
you hear
turn the volume down
the white
again.
noise.
It's like,
They
I love
needed,
you.
it's like Michael Mann. They needed that immediate, acting performance.
And yeah, so and then all of a sudden, I think he proposes to her, and then all of a
I
sudden
need
they're
to
on a
ask
beach.
your father. There's a lot of her father in
Yeah,
this movie.
but they're on a beach making out for some reason for a very long time.
It's their spot.
And then it cuts to a 7-Eleven robbery or in progress or something like
which
that.
reminded me a lot of the opening scene of Parole Violators. Do you remember that?
Kind of, yeah, a little bit. Without the parole
It
violator.
was like the same thing.
yeah,
You're
so
on
it's-
parole violator. Maybe they're in the same universe.
Yeah.
The dangerous parole violators universe.
I think it ends with, Tom Holland and J. Jonah Jameson show up.
Oh my God!
It's like, parole violator is
okay.
really blah, blah, blah.
So there's a robbery happening. The first.
Well,
of
this
many
introduces the
dangerous men.
theme of characters that appear for one scene,
Yeah.
and then just get gunned down right away because there's a woman who pulls a gun, and the robber's like, I have it right
No,
here. Son of a
it's-
bitch, you're robbing my shop. And the robber's like, shut the fuck up. And then she goes, I'll fuck you up.
Yeah, she starts to do like kung fu.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really bad kung fu, I might add. And then he
And
shoots
she gets
her.
shot.
Yeah. And you have no idea who this woman is, first of all, who these robbers are. And then it just sort of randomly cuts to the cop outside smoking.
Cop brother, right?
The cop brother who we saw in the opening scene sneaking into the house.
But anyone watching for the film for the first time assumes it's the guy you just saw at the restaurant.
Yeah,
But it's
you would
not.
have no
they look
idea.
so similar.
And it's so disconnected because he's just outside randomly having a cigarette.
Yeah,
And
he's not even like,
he looks,
there's a robbery happening.
he
I
looks
better
so
stop it."
happy having a cigarette. And I think even the music
I mean,
is really happy.
Colin, you grew up in the 90s. I'm sure you smoked that sweet cigarette between your lips.
Oh, it was
Heaven.
wonderful. Can't get enough.
Demoria.
I just stand outside convenience stores. Just,
Do you think that we could be sponsored by cigarettes? Is that like the last bastion of
yeah, I
cigarette
wonder if it could.
podcast?
Podcast.
Nothing
Sponsored by
tastes
it.
better than a smooth, I don't know, Camels still exist.
Marlboros,
Belmont.
no such thing as a bad movie podcast.
And we could be characters. We could be like, hey, it's me, Joe Camel. I love smoking. My face looks like a dick.
So I guess the woman gets shot. The cop who I guess is just standing randomly on the sidewalk, hears it and goes in, shoots the one guy, and then arrests the other guy. And then the owner of the store still has his hands up, and he's like, "Sir, you can put your hands down."
My daughter just died.
It's like he doesn't look
It's
upset.
just like random scene. What was this scene?
I have no
It's
idea.
just, a little bit of action to get. This is not
Yeah.
much of an action movie. You compare it to Parole Violators,
Well,
which that's a stunt spectacular.
Yeah.
This is not.
No, this
No.
one, I guess it's to establish that he's a police officer.
Yes.
Okay.
Remember, because you probably won't see him for another 40 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, actually, no. You see him in the next scene because the director very smartly pulls the classic Godfrey Ho of having characters from two different movies talking to each other on the phone.
Yes. So I guess we're back to the couple that we're making out on the beach, talking about, okay, we're getting married. We need to ask your dad for permission. All right, fine. They go to the dad's place. They keep, by the way, cutting back to the scene of them making out on the beach, even though it took place in the past. Very confusing.
Just trying to
What's
spice it
time,
up.
man?
I know.
Yeah.
But it's like
a
it's a
fucking
flat circle.
What's the name of that director I hate who does those art house movies?
Terrence Malick.
Yes.
You have a hate on for Terrence Malick, April?
I don't like his movies.
Yeah.
Wait, which movies have you seen?
The one with
Where someone walks through a field and they like
Yeah.
Land of
run their
Cups.
hands through the hay.
They're all the fucking same.
It's like a wide angle lens.
I can't even
Yes.
tell you.
Spinning
I
around.
think Jessica Chastain was in it. I don't
There'll probably be
Oh.
Knight of Cups,
know.
maybe?
It
Yeah,
was
he made
before
like
that.
4 in a row and they were all the same. I didn't see any of
Remember
them.
when he used to take like a 20-year break between
one,
making his
the
films?
one that at the end, all the characters from different ages are walking on a beach.
Book of Life.
Isn't that
Book
the
of
one with
Life.
Brad Pitt? Yeah, they give like a hug.
Oh, I
to-
remember my mom went to see that with some of her friends. It is, totally not her type of movie.
She loved that dinosaur at the beginning,
They-
right? That CGI sequence.
They walked out of it. Okay, first of all, she lived in Victoria, BC at the time, which is like a city
a
on
lot of senior citizens.
city
there.
on Vancouver Island. A lot of old British people. And she left the theater and went to complain to the manager with her friend to get her money back. And they actually
Why?
had
Because they didn't like the movie.
they had a sign up. I guess a lot of old
that said no money back.
No, a lot of old people, I guess, had been going into the movie and then asking for their money back. So they had a sign up. They said, okay, we'll make an exception for the Book of Life. You can actually get your money back.
That's the only one.
Never argue with like an old Scottish person about getting their money back.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well,
Just
Terrence
give them
Malick's
their money.
A cool guy, because there was an article that came out about the making of the Thin Red Line where he like refused to edit the footage. And like he kept putting it off, and finally they got him in there. And what he did was he blasted the new Green Day album as he cut the footage together, and like he wouldn't watch it with the original soundtrack.
What is he, a troll?
So good.
Oh, it's great.
Anyway, so this movie reminded me of a Terrence Malick movie.
Okay, what?
That is the first time anyone
Wow.
has ever said that in relation to
Lots of
Dangerous
people
Men.
on beaches.
Need that on a t-shirt.
Ooh, that's true. I don't
yeah.
really. I mean, I guess that one Terrence Malick film is on a beach.
Sure.
They ask her dad for permission to marry her, and he looks
This
younger
dad
than
keeps
her.
coming back up, and he has no weight on the plot at all.
Yeah, he looks younger than her prospective fiance.
Oh, I don't know about that, but anyway, the brother
At least
gets
like the same age.
the brother calls the cop. The cop looks like he's in a hotel room for some reason. He's like, "Oh, well, she's a good woman. Good for you." And he's like, "I'm going to take like a week off. I got some vacation." And then he goes, and this is one of those first clues where it's like, "Oh, I don't think this guy is, American, or whoever wrote the script was." He's like, "Okay, see you there, my favorite brother."
That's how I talk with my bro all the time.
Hello, my
I'm
favorite
like, brother, I love you. Let us go to the shop later on.
Does he
Hello.
have multiple brothers, do you think?
I don't know.
No, I feel like if he did, we'd see all of them in this movie.
So
Yeah,
it's not
I have
his
a feeling,
favorite,
too.
It's his only brother.
I don't know.
That's why he's so hurt with the shocking twist that happens, like Psycho later on.
In the next scene,
All right,
we
so-
go to a
Yeah.
beach outing, and this is like the
I
happiest
mean,
music.
they love the beach. You guys love the beach, right? I find the beach very annoying and dirty.
I'm actually not that big of a
I don't like the sand.
fan.
It gets in everywhere.
I mean, I once in a while, yeah, I like it. But
Hey, if I have a nice like private beach and it's quiet, I love it.
The classic Colin private beach.
well, the thing is,
Keep all that riffraff out.
If I can land-
I'm not going to the beach Toronto.
You're like you land the Lolita Express on your favorite beach.
If I can land my helicopter on the private beach. No, I like quieter.
Your pal Jeffrey Epstein comes out. He's like, Colin, nice to see you again.
Actually, I used to love going to the beach when I was camping, and like it wasn't like an insane like zoo. It was like quieter.
But if it's a Canadian beach, it's brown, it's wet,
it's a lake.
I would never go to a beach in LA or Florida, anywhere where it's crowded. I hate that.
People.
I hate that scene. So it's like
terrible.
Plus, I am a vampire. Like I will burst into flames.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I can get a good tan.
Oh.
Anyway, our poor...
Whoa, boasting. Everyone listening to the podcast is very jealous. Especially you said it in front of a vampire, April. That's not very thoughtful of you.
Burst into flames. Okay, so our lovely couple, unfortunately, they run afoul of a couple of bikers who are
I don't,
just out to have a good time.
Think the bikers are in the wrong here. They are, as they say, very bored. They're like, I'm bored.
As soon as you see them, it's like, it's going to be trouble. But the music...
This film hates bikers, too. But they're trash.
And the music in this scene is so inappropriate. It's so upbeat. It reminded me of like the opening music for Hard Ticket to Hawaii.
That's not quite that, but yeah, it's like the other like jaunty tune. It sounds like the Uniracers soundtrack.
Well, good thing. I mean, this beach looks beautiful. There's only 4 people on it. It's like our couple who are just there to relax and chill out.
It also looks really cold. Like it doesn't look hot.
It might be why it's empty.
Yeah, I think
it's completely
I think
empty.
this is winter.
So this movie was shot in L.A., even though you wouldn't quite know because it's very rural, especially near the end of the movie.
Yeah, we mentioned that because I was like, this movie, like everywhere they go looks like shit, but I'm pretty sure this is Los Angeles.
That's L.A., baby.
Because they're in the Hollywood Hills later, so yeah, it's L.A.
But it's like, I guess it's the Pacific Coast Highway, I don't know, but it's the highway right by the beach, and it looks like
we get a vicious scene here where one of the bikers tries to sexually assault the woman.
He kind of grabs her and walks away with her.
Yeah, and then the other guy goes after the husband, and they have a scuffle. And the husband
strangles the guy,
the fiance. He through self-defense strangles him.
Oh, that's right. And the other biker's like, "No, he was my best friend."
And he stabs him.
He stabs the fiance to death. The woman starts freaking out. For like a second.
You son of a bitch, you're lucky you're dead. You killed my only friend.
Yeah, that's what the biker says. And then she
has an about face.
Yeah, really,
which is
really quickly
very
turns.
confusing and weird. And I feel it's only one of those things that you can find in one of these sort of bad movies.
That's honestly what's so good about
what
this
is happening?
Is these weird
Yeah, because she switches and she goes, all right, let's go. Grabbing the biker's arm, and he's like, wait, what? She's like, you know something, Tiger? You really turned me on. I want a real man.
Yeah.
I'm free.
I'm free now. And she's not a very good actress, guys.
She's playing the long con here.
Yeah,
which turns out to be very short.
Well,
it should be said that, I mean, it's a long part of the screen movie.
Yeah, it's like 20 minutes, it feels like.
Because we get a montage of her and the biker hanging out, going to a restaurant as a love song plays. I miss you so much.
They get a really nice looking steak, by the way. She does.
She gets steak and frites at the hotel restaurant.
Yeah.
And she's like, you really turned me on or something. And he's like, yeah, you too. He's just going along.
As a viewer,
with
though, you don't know what's going on. You're like,
because
okay,
you think that maybe she really
you just think like, is this really bad acting and writing, or is like, what is happening here? And then she drops her plate.
It is a marriage of both.
She clumsily drops her plate on the ground, and then
you're kind of like, okay.
And she pockets the knife, and you're like, oh,
she pockets it in a very specific place that we see later on.
Yeah. So the next scene, which is every scene is awkward. So if I say something is awkward, just assume the whole movie is awkward.
Yeah, it's horribly awkward.
She says, I want to take a shower.
Yeah, so they go back to the motel room.
She has to take a shower first. And then she comes back in a towel, and she has very specific instructions about what she wants him to do.
It's like, I'm going to come across the room. You're going to rub my knees very lightly.
And then lick my belly button.
And she says this like 3 times.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that people repeat lines in this movie?
That is a very kind of like ego movie thing, right? Where like Neil Breen characters always repeat lines.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
How could you have committed suicide? How could you have committed suicide?
Well, somebody had a theory about that, and they thought he was just doing 3 different reads of each line. Like I'll give myself options
But
in
they're
editing.
all so good.
And then when he's
that-
editing it, he's like, I can't cut any of them out.
Yeah, but this movie, it just seemed like they were trying to fill time. Like the actors were just repeating the lines.
I think it's more of just an improv thing that
Yeah.
you do when, you're not an actor.
So you just repeat the line you just said.
Maybe the person doesn't reply quickly enough and you repeat the line.
Yeah.
I should point out that the woman in this, they did find her, and she wanted nothing to do with the Blu-ray release of the film because she
God.
has become a doctor.
I thought you were going to say that they found her dead or something like that.
No,
Thank
yeah.
God.
She's a doctor now.
She is,
Oh.
and she didn't want anything to do with it because she goes full frontal in this movie.
Yeah, you pretty much see everything. In this
I've
scene.
seen everything.
Well, and I've seen it.
Well,
Everything.
you see everything because when she's when that licking's going on, she reaches behind her butt cheeks and a knife falls out.
Yeah,
The
there's
knife was in her butt cheeks.
Yeah.
I had to rewind it and be like, "Wait, is that right?" Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
It's right. And she stabs him to death.
Yep, so he's dead.
Over jaunty music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so funny. And she's like,
She starts like yelling at him. She's like, I'm going to make sure that scumbags like you get what they deserve.
yeah,
blah, blah,
she's
blah.
like, how could you have destroyed or killed my
How could you have
one
destroyed
love?"
my life and killed my... How could you have destroyed
Yeah.
my life?
So she leaves and she's just running. She's running.
Wait, we should point out that every scene will end with like a couple minutes on characters that don't matter.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you're with the bellhop and the guy behind the desk, and they're like, "Hey, what's going on there?" I don't know. Maybe we should go check. Doesn't matter. But we spend that time.
Yeah, I think one of the maids like discovers the body in the room. It's like, whatever, who cares?
And then she's driving in her car. Mina, the woman that just murdered a man,
No,
she's
no.
like laughing,
she's
crying.
actually just
No.
walking.
She's hitchhiking.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
She's hitchhiking. Is she
And-
having a flashback here?
I believe so.
there are
Probably
flashbacks.
thinking about her.
She's
fiancé.
thinking about her father and the time
Yeah,
that
where
spent-
she's pretending to be a cat.
Yeah,
And she's
did
like,
you see
meow, and she knocks.
which is so bizarre.
So weird.
I know. It sounds like we're making it up. We're not. She's on all fours.
Yeah, and then it just
she-
hard cuts to her fiance asking him to marry his daughter.
Yeah, and then the dad is like, "Oh, you're gonna make a fine, son-in-law."
Yeah,
Blah blah blah.
And so this,
He sounds Irish the way you do. You'll make a fine.
I-
You'll make
I-
a fine son-in-law.
I understand why it was edited this way. It was
you?
because she's about to meet an older man,
Oh, God.
and not unlike her father. So it was trying to blend. This is her relationship with her father, and now she's going to meet this man. Maybe she can trust him because she's like her dad.
April just made that Matrix jump. She just sailed between those two
Wow.
buildings because she believed.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
She believed.
Well, I'm believing now. Well, yeah, she's picked up. She's hitchhiking. This old beaten up like pick 'em up truck like picks her up on the side of the road and
Pick 'em up
truck. And it's like driven by this sort of hoity-toity like British man.
Well, not at first. At first, he has an American accent.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like his accent changes.
Yes, he does. Where he's like, "Oh, hello, ma'am," etc., etc. Once he leaves the car, he's like, "Hello." His accent completely
it's so bizarre. He
changes.
looks like David Niven or something like that. He's
Yes, he does look like
He's
David.
wearing a
I've been
suit.
running away from a
He's got like a
truck.
little
French
kind of
accent.
pencil mustache and everything. It's so bizarre to see him driving this truck.
And he looks at her and he's like licking his chops, like he can't wait to attack
and she kind
her.
of falls asleep, and then he keeps talking to himself. He's like, "Oh, how can I pass up a opportunity like this, old boy?"
And so
Yeah.
he wakes her up.
And then when he attacks her, she's like, "I thought you were a decent
You
man."
said you had a family and children, and then he's got a gun that I think she takes from him, right?
well, she still has
Yes.
the steak knife somehow.
upper butt.
I guess.
God, I
yeah.
hope not.
So she like
Well, she gets his gun.
She does an about face again. She does the exact thing she did earlier because it worked. She just, after being like, "Oh my God, what are you doing? I thought you were a nice man." She just goes, "I'm just kidding. I've always had a thing for older men." And he's like, "Ugh, let me put my gun down." And she's like, "Okay, how about you get on top of me?" Again, the instructions. And
Well,
start taking your clothes off.
So he gets naked, and then she grabs the gun
And then she grabs his dick.
forces. Oh yeah,
And she holds the knife on it, and she's like, "I will cut it off." And so, and this goes on for seemingly forever.
that could be any scene in this movie.
Yeah, but then she's like, "Get out, take off all your clothes," and then she drives off. And Here starts the adventure of the naked
Oh my
man.
God.
This goes on.
This
for like
goes
10
on
minutes.
so long.
Well, it keeps cutting away and then back to the
And
naked
there's like
man.
weird music playing, and he's like, "Oh, what am
Yeah,
I going
isn't it
to
like-
do?"
Well, she's crying, and then he's talking to himself the entire time. It seems...
And he's like, it's like da 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 da
And
da
it
da.
turns into a comedy. He's got bushes in front of him covering his balls
But
and
it's
his
like sad
bum.
He's like,
music.
oh, he's dancing to classical
He's doing
music.
like classical music dancing, but then he seems to be making up a plan of what he's going to tell his wife when he gets home to
Yeah, she tried to rape
she
me.
took the car and then
He's just like mumbling
and then
to himself.
Stole my clothes.
And then like some guys stop for him and then throw garbage at him.
He's like, help me. Boo.
Yeah, they start throwing trash at him, and then they're like, "Where's the old lady?
deserved it.
Where's the old lady?" And he's like, "No, this is humiliating." And you're thinking, okay, well, surely this guy is going to,
Go somewhere.
go somewhere, or
Because this is like 10 minutes we spent with this
he must
naked
be
man.
an important character. Nope, you never see him again.
Never see him again. He's
Back
left on
to
the side of the
Mina.
road.
No. So we're first introduced to the cops.
Oh, do we?
This is another character, a new character.
Policeman,
Yes.
Yeah.
as his badge
Yeah, so
says.
we're back to the police character from the beginning, but now he's got a friend.
You know that it's an expensive movie if a police station is a cramped corner
Yeah.
of a
Again,
room.
I was really thinking of like Samurai Cop.
It's just
I was
like
this is
painted
just an
cinder
office.
blocks behind
Yeah.
him. But so policeman is talking to his police friend. And this is where the calendar says like 1995, and you're like, "There's no way this takes place in the 90s. There's no
But
way."
I was like, it's not some future calendar, Colin. So it had to be.
April's
had to be.
like, they can't make future calendars, Colin. And why
can't.
would they?
Why would they? It makes no
know.
sense.
It's like this whole thing took
And
place.
I think the cop is like, well, we don't know where your sister is. Is it this scene where he's like, hey, but you're supposed to be on vacation. Get out
Yeah.
of here.
His sister-in-law, technically, right?
Yeah, so we
Yes.
meet this new cop, and I guess it cuts to him on the phone with his girlfriend, demanding
and then you
sex.
See them have sex for like a second.
This does
It's
not
so-
matter. The
it's
girlfriend
so
never
weird.
comes back.
It is so random. It's so random.
Isn't she like, you spend too much time at work? And he's like, all right,
was
I'm coming
that
over.
a longer scene that they just decided to cut down to like
I'm
a
sure,
second,
yeah.
or what?
If there's anything that what's his name, John Rad knows,
Did we also mention this movie is like 85 minutes?
is it really?
It's really short.
Oh my
It's
God.
not even 90.
It's more confusing than Tenet.
Yeah, so I think it's just filling time, but like, yeah.
So
like
yeah,
really
so
bad.
now we're back to Mina, who
Yep, she goes back to see her dad because the audience are on, tender hooks, waiting to know. Is that the expression on tender hooks? I don't think I've ever said it out loud.
tender hooks.
I don't think I've heard of that before.
Tenter hooks? On tenter hooks means waiting nervously for something to happen. I did use it in the right
tender,
context.
Tendo.
I've heard it say tender, also tenter hooks.
Because I know what a tenter hook is. It's like the tent, like that hook you put into.
Yep, that's what it means, on tenter
Really?
hooks. I guess it's an expression that doesn't get used
Yeah, I
very
guess so, because
often
nobody
anymore.
knows what the hell's a tenter hook.
Yeah, it's somebody with an accent.
Yeah, what
like
the hell's
that.
a tenter
What the
hook?
hell's a tenter
I know
hook?
what it is. I used to be a connie in a circus in the 30s.
Hey, yeah, it's the tenterhook. We used to put the the hook man
would be
on
like
him. I couldn't wait to get out on
That
the
seems
stage.
like a talkie from like the 30s, like the tenterhook killer.
Do you know that in the 40s, Warner Brothers wanted everybody to talk like gangsters because it used less films, they talk faster? So goes the
Really?
story.
That's quite the anecdote.
Yeah, where it's like, yeah, see, I'm a gangster. This is what I'm going to do. See?
I love talking like that. It's like the old timey radio voice.
I hope it is true though.
Oh, amazing. Oh, listen here.
So
see?
Mina sees her father because we want the
I think
story to
he-
close, and she's
he
like,
gives her credit cards or something.
well, she's like, I have to
Yeah.
leave.
I don't even
And he's like,
remember
please,
that.
we don't know
please
why.
take them. It's only for like one scene.
I probably went to the bathroom or something.
Yeah, so she takes money from him, her credit card. She rents a car and starts picking up. She turns into like this revenge killer.
A lady of the night.
Lady of the night.
Well, first, yeah, she picks up a lady of the night
Yeah.
who's like, all right, let's get going. She takes her top off, and she's like, no, I don't want this. I just want to
I
talk.
just want hooker training on how to be a
Well,
lady of the night.
Yeah.
it's funny because she's like, I just want to know what it's like, being a hooker. Like,
And
is
the
it
lady of the
dangerous?
night
What are the places?
Pauses, and she goes, risks, dangerous streets, customers, drug dealers, pimps. Who am I afraid of? What might happen to me? Everywhere, everybody, and
Yeah, and then
everything. I could be
And she
killed at
starts
any time.
crying, and like dramatic
Yeah.
music.
I
plays.
want to go
Yeah,
home.
I want to go home.
Yeah, and Mina's like, she's kind of disgusted. She's like, ugh, I want to be a
And she actually says, "Now I'll just be another girl working the streets, but definitely
like
not
her."
them."
Yeah. So she picks men.
You
she
suck,
picks men
Mina.
up in her car, which is it's usually the other way around.
That's like a
with
reverse hooker.
Yeah. She like goes like come in, and then it cuts to like a silhouette of her stabbing them. So this montage happens like 2 or 3 times.
probably to inappropriate music. I would guess.
Yeah.
If anything,
Yes. And it ends with her. Well, actually, there's a flashback of her being like, "I made this."
Oh
out
my
of
God,
seashells
we were
for you."
dying
seashell
laughing.
art.
we could not figure it
Yeah.
out. She was like giving her fiance this kind of
And I was like, "What the fuck is it? It's got googly eyes."
It's like this ornamental plate. It's like she.
It's like Lucille Clam.
It is
That
so
moment?
big. It's like this big serving plate that she's like adorned with like shells that she found.
What the hell is he supposed to do
I
with
don't
that?
know.
That is a thing that he
Put
will
it on your
toss out
mantle.
in
And
like
he says,
2
he
weeks.
goes, "I love it." And I'm like, "You liar." it has like all these shells.
Yeah, when he died, he was like, "Sweet release. I don't have to say that I like her clam
He
art
probably
anymore."
just like took it immediately to the trash and just dumped it in. It's so big and it has so many shells on it, and they all have googly eyes. It's just bizarre. Like, what do you do?
They're
You hang
supposed
it
to
up?
look like owls.
Have googly eyes gone out of fashion? They seem to be real big
Were
when I was a
googly
kid.
eyes ever in
But,
fashion?
Yeah, people
I
love
think
googly
now
eyes.
people are just putting googly eyes on like their TikToks. They're
Okay.
putting Google
Not actually googly eyes.
No, but like
Do you think there's someone who invested
Animated.
in googly eyes? He's like, "I put my family's fortune in
animated
this."
googly eyes on an
What was
animated.
that?
Oh no, guys, you forgot NFT.
Oh
googly
God!
eyes.
What was that Christopher Walken sketch from like SNL?
Where you put googly eyes on a plant.
Yeah, remember the census guy comes to his door and he's like, "I'm living with like 65 people. Okay, they're plants with googly eyes."
Yeah, I remember that.
I've never watched SNL because it's not very
Really?
funny, except for that sketch you just
Exactly.
mentioned. Yeah,
Except for all the classic funny sketches. It's never
yeah,
funny.
like sweaty balls with
I gotta say,
Rest in
I
Power.
don't, think
Alec
that, I don't
Baldwin.
think that sketch was very funny.
Career rest in power.
No, I've never seen it.
The more he talks about that,
Oh, well.
whatever we'll never mention
Yeah,
is like the
God.
more I'm just disgusted. And on Disney Plus, they have his fucking interview that he did after the shooting.
Talking
What?
about the incident?
Yes.
What?
On Disney Plus.
What is it called?
It's called
there an
like
Alec Baldwin
Alec
project
Baldwin
that's come-
Untold or whatever, and it's that fucking interview he did, that horrible interview.
Oh well, I haven't seen it.
He's like, "I didn't pull the trigger," and it's just like, what is this on Disney Plus for? This is disgusting,
Oh my God.
disgraceful. And he just,
I can't believe it's on Disney.
yeah,
What?
it's just despicable. And then he did like another interview, I think like in December or a couple days ago or something like that, and it's just even worse.
Dude, stop talking.
Just even worse. Like,
about
just stop talking right now. Ugh. Anyway,
back
Dangerous
to
Men.
Much Better
speaking,
Men.
Speaking of Dangerous Men.
Oh man, Alec Baldwin has a cameo in this. He's coming out of the woodwork
He's a real
here.
dangerous man. Okay, we need to get to more bikers.
Okay, yeah, we get to okay.
Well, yeah. So the montage.
Okay, when we get to the cop.
with-
The
well,
cop now is
Wait, we skipped a bunch of stuff because Mina goes to the beach. She hitches another ride because her car
Oh
runs
yeah,
out of gas.
the car.
oh yeah.
And then she kills
Yeah,
that guy.
this is the
It
Datsun
happens.
scene.
It happens again. She wasn't trying to honeypot him. Like it was literally, I need a ride, and
Yeah.
he's like, well, let's pull over and have some fun.
He
it
pulls-
happens the third.
Yeah, he
third
pulls
time.
his Datsun to the top of this cliff, and then she shoots him, and then pushes the car off the cliff, and then this is the
Yeah.
joke about
There's a
the.
comical explosion.
Did we talk? Yeah, we talked
Yeah,
about
we
the daughter
talked
at the
about the
beginning. Okay, yeah.
car.
Well, so the explosion is actually a stock footage explosion that you see over the title of the movie at the beginning.
Oh, yeah,
and you see it at
yeah.
the end as
So
well.
3 times he used it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you pay for it once, you get your money's worth.
What is that? Avi Arad talking?
Oh.
Wait for the explosion. you
All right, okay. So then we're kind of done with Mina for most of the
Wait,
movie.
did you guys notice the most insane news set to ever appear in a non-futuristic movie?
What is happening?
What's that?
Has John Rad ever seen
Oh,
the
yeah.
news? It looks like it's out of like The Running Man.
so bizarre.
I agree. It looks like something from like Total Recall or something like that.
But what is that?
Yes. And like the newscaster is like 90 feet in the air. The symbol behind her looks like, I don't know, like the Druids made it or
Yeah,
something.
it's so
Like,
weird.
kind of looked
complicated.
like, I don't know, maybe that's what like Al Jazeera looks like, you know?
Was it supposed to be Al
I don't think they were
Jazeera?
watching Al
No,
Jazeera.
but like maybe that's what he was modeling it off of. Or
I don't know. Yeah. Well, he had to flee
But-
Iran because of the Shah took over. So I don't know. Maybe that's just what he thought news. And then in that time, he had never ever watched the news on TV. And just imagine it in his
Maybe
head.
that's just the set he had access to.
I agree with him. The news is a bummer. What do you get from watching the news? Nothing.
Depression.
I don't watch the news.
And an ulcer.
Yeah.
I get all my news from SNL. Just joking.
April's a big QAnon person.
Oh, God.
She gets her news from Q
I got my
Drops.
news from SNL.
Yeah.
All my medical info from Facebook. That's April. She says it in like a southern accent too.
Yeah, April puts a voice on when she does
It's
the podcast.
really
It's
weird. She's always like chewing like like thing of hay and stuff.
She is from Oshawa. Anyway, moving on.
Okay. Okay, we need to get to the biker bar with the.
This is it.
A very good character, Dutch.
This is the cop at bar. So
Oh man, Dutch is so excited. He's like he brings the fury
I
in
gotta
this
say,
movie.
he's definitely the best actor in the movie.
he has like the fakest looking tattoos all over his face.
He is. I mean, there's a fight scene later on, and it's such a powerful fight that the tattoo starts to rub off.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But he is actually able to say lines believably, unlike any other actor in this movie.
I mean, it's a competition between two best actors in the scene in the bar, where the detective goes and is like trying to figure out what's going on. Because
the bartender?
The bartender.
He's pretty good too.
The bartender with the J. Jonah Jameson flat top.
Yeah.
His son, a bigger bastard than Lou, he goes by the name of Black Pepper.
So this is the first time we hear about Black Pepper.
Oh yeah, but it's not the last, baby.
Oh my God.
All I know is he got killed on the beach.
It's like hearing about Jabba the Hutt in like, Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, they should have. If John Rad had lived, there would be like a special edition, and they'd be like, "How do we get it when he walks over Black Pepper?" We'll just CG it in.
Also, like,
it's
not
like,
that it matters, but this doesn't look like a biker bar.
No. It looks like
doesn't
a
matter.
kind of
Too well lit.
It looks like a sports bar or something. They have that shitty like dart game where it's
Yeah.
like the kind of fake darts. But you hear about this gangster Black Pepper, and you hear about Jabba the Hutt and Empire. You're just like, my God,
Ooh,
what
who's
could
this
it be
guy?
like?
Yeah.
3 years later, it's like this.
He's definitely not a guy.
Yeah,
in a
everyone's
terrible
talking
wig.
about it on the playground. They're like,
Wow, what do you think?
Who's Black Pepper?
What do you think Black Pepper looks like?
A guy.
I think I saw some Cinefex photos, and it was just like a guy in a weird vest.
No, I hear they're going to do it later with blue screen.
Okay.
So what happens here is that the bald, fake tattoo-haired biker
Dutch.
is having a bored time.
Hits on
as they
a woman
tend to
that he
do.
sees
And he's
playing.
like, look at that chick, man. She's hot. I'm going to go have sex with her. So she leaves to go to the bathroom, seemingly.
Well, she doesn't leave to go to the bathroom. She leaves directly onto a beach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, after he like pretty much
Pretty
assaults
funny.
her
In the bar?
in the bar.
Yeah, he does it in the bar, too? I can't even remember. There's just so much assault.
There's
Yeah, he's
so
like,
much
hey, baby,
sexual
come
assault
on.
in
And
this
she's
movie.
like, get out of here.
So then he follows her outside, and she just decides to take her clothes off and go swimming.
Where
Like she's
is-
wearing a bikini.
Where is this bar? Is it on a beach?
on a
I don't
hill.
understand.
It has to be
Cliff.
right on a beach. And, I mean, ladies, all of you clearly love to just go play in the water by yourself, don't you?
Yeah.
She is having
No
a
one
blast.
else.
She is.
Yeah.
She loves
She
it.
is
Until
frolicking
he
and
is, like,
laughing.
he's just sexually assaulting her, and she is like really like screaming a lot.
Yeah, this is
and
actually
it's
harrowing.
Very hard to listen to.
She's
So while this is going on, the cop, like the other robbery that happened earlier, is just hanging out at the bar still, asking
and
questions.
he sees all this, and yeah, this is going on for quite a while. And then he kind of asks the bartender, like, I don't know, some innocuous question. He's like, "Remember that guy that harassed the girl and is like assaulting her on the beach right now? He knows who Black Pepper is."
Yeah, basically.
And he's like, "What?"
he waits like way
And,
too
and then
long.
the cop runs away, and then a new guy comes up, and he's like, "What the fuck did you tell him?
Yeah.
Who was that guy?"
The cop goes down to the beach, and then
Oh, wait, we missed an insane line that the guy's like, "What's your name?" And the cop says something, and then the barman's like, "I'll call you Clink Cuckoo."
Oh, yeah.
It's like, wait, what?
it's really weird. Yeah, so
I'm like, it's not even a saying.
Cop goes through the portal to the beach, and then he
portal.
runs down. It is. It's like something from the Matrix or something.
Yeah.
And then
It's like, yeah, the keymaster opened the door for him when he went through.
So he chokes out Dutch, who's
Okay, so this is my favorite thing.
This is just so
that the
confusing.
cop his favorite move is grabbing someone's head.
Yes.
Like he's squeezing it. Like it's not like a sleeper hold. It's like both hands around the person's
it's
face.
kind of like a headlock, but like upright.
It's like a hand lock.
Yeah, but not really, because both hands,
Yeah.
he's just holding the
a
head.
hand lock on, and he's got a big meaty head. So I
Yeah,
don't know what he thinks
It looks like he's
doing.
trying to like crush the guy's head with his hand.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very confusing. And then so he chokes him out, or we think he's
We
dead.
thought he was dead. It turns out
You thought he'd
wasn't.
broken
Yeah,
his
he's
neck.
not. You can't get Dutch, you can't kill him that much.
Yeah, so then he takes off with this girl, the cop, and then he's like, okay, can I give you a lift anywhere?
Was this the same girl? Like,
Yes.
I was like, okay.
yeah.
So
So
then, I thought maybe she was different.
Immediately, so then you see Dutch's biker friend comes down to the beach, and he's like, Dutch, where are you? And he finds him on the beach, kind of shakes him a few times. You're sure? Oh my
Yeah,
God, he's dead.
There's no indication he's not dead.
Cuts to the next scene. Now the cop is using the same woman as like
Classic
the
honeypot.
honeypot lure. She's
Yeah.
like sitting
Yeah.
on the back of this
She's
Volvo
like sunbathing on her Volvo.
by the side of the road, and who comes by is Dutch
Dutch.
and his biker
Again,
gang.
So
And do you think Dutch is like, what are the chances of this happening twice?
we get basically
We
the
were so
exact
con-
scene we just watched.
Oh, but it's different now because Dutch takes the woman into the woods, and our hero, the cop, can't get out of the car because his foot is
For
stuck.
some
Yeah,
reason,
why?
he's wearing like an what is it, like a kind of mechanics like overalls and a motorcycle helmet, and his foot is stuck.
High tops. So and we're just seeing this obscure close up of him under the seat of some car.
It's
but
so
like
confusing.
we assume that it's the car that she was in, and he's like, I can't
Get my foot out of the back. But I'm like,
And
why are
she's
you
like,
wearing a motorcycle?
while he's assaulting her again.
It's like the classic South Korean film "I Saw the Devil," where the hero doesn't arrive in time.
But why is he wearing a motorcycle helmet? He finally.
It's a classic Hitchcockian, construction call on building suspense.
think it's just to protect his head.
guys in the back of the seat of the car, you see, and his foot is caught.
But he's finally.
he's got a motorcycle helmet, you see. I don't know.
But he does finally escape, and he's bulletproof because Dutch is like,
he shoots
get
him.
back.
I wonder in the world of the director's mind, is he thinking, okay, if he's got the motorcycle helmet on, he's bulletproof?
Yeah, he later says, I was wearing a bulletproof vest, but he moves like RoboCop.
Okay.
Like, he does not flinch, point blank bullets
I
to
do
the
not
chest.
understand why he's wearing a motorcycle
It's
helmet.
a dumb
then.
movie.
Could I take a guess? Perhaps the actor was not available during that time, so they got someone to sub in wearing a motorcycle helmet.
That's a good point.
But I think
Yeah.
I want to say that the front visor is up when he's in the car the entire
Yeah,
time.
but it could have been someone that just looked like him. Maybe it was the other
Yeah.
brother.
Hey,
you know?
I'd recognize those fake pasted on eyebrows.
Anyone can have those fake paste on
Maybe it
eyebrows.
was Scott
You
Mayo.
could go as the
So
cop.
anyway,
Yeah.
they managed to tie up Dutch.
he chokes him out again.
yeah, it is the same.
the same head moves.
I'm like, why couldn't this have been the last scene?
So he ties
Oh,
him
there's
up.
a fight scene too, and it's like the same punch sound effect.
yeah.
They just stand there
Well,
punching
we're
each
about
other.
to get more of
Yeah,
that.
we're gonna get
but
more of that.
It's very, very comical fight scene.
Why pay for more than one punch sound effect when you can just use the same one over again?
Yeah, so they've got Dutch in the back, and he's grilling him for info about black pepper.
Oh, don't forget the woman undresses as well for a little bit of that sexual
Oh my God.
titillation.
Yeah, for some reason we need to see her change into pants.
And
for,
she is like
a
she's
minute.
flirting to someone, the cameraman, obviously.
Yeah, well, I think
like-
it's supposed to be like she likes the.
Ooh, yeah, it was old handsome
Oh,
Joe
she's
the
like bending
cameraman.
over
She
and
likes
like
the cop.
yeah.
So I think it's got to be around this time that we get a check in on Mina, where she's watching.
Check in.
Well, we
It looks
mentioned
like
that
they filmed
new-
her Bowfinger
we
style.
mentioned that
like,
news
across the
program,
street.
so like they're on to her, like they know that there's a serial killer, and we suspect it's a woman, and she's just walking down the street, or like it looks like the courtyard of her hotel, and she gets arrested.
Oh, yeah.
And then later on, they tell cop brother, "We arrested Mina." Like that, it's later in the movie.
So at this point, the cop is
completely forgot
grilling
that.
Dutch to meet Black Pepper, who had nothing to do with anything we've seen up till
and
now.
also, have we introduced the old cop with the cowboy
oh,
hat
the chief?
yet? The chief?
The chief?
Because he is featured prominently in the end of this movie, and I
becomes
don't
the
think
star
we've
of the
even
movie
met
in the
him
last
yet,
15
and we're
minutes.
at the end.
It's almost like No Country for Old Men.
That's exactly like Tommy Lee Jones disappears.
Yeah, or like Josh.
Oh no, Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin like disappears from
And
the
Tommy
movie.
Lee Jones becomes the main
Hey,
character.
finishes the movie. Yeah, maybe they were just like ahead of their time.
Yeah. So I think he's the one that tells cop brother, Mina's been arrested. So at least he has that closure, but he's on the trail to get Black Pepper. Why does he want to get Black
Who's
Pepper? Just
Black
because
Pepper?
he's the son of the guy who killed his brother?
What?
There's no reason to get Black Pepper.
Is that true?
None.
Yeah, that's who
Yeah,
he
yeah,
is.
they're related.
Yeah. That's
Wait, is he the dad or the son?
Black
I don't
Pepper's the
remember which.
son.
Wait,
he finds that out at the biker bar.
Black Pepper is the son
Wait,
of
but
who?
Of the guy who killed
the guy who's like, that was my only friend.
The bald-headed biker
Yeah.
who looks like Dutch?
Yes.
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 Yeah,
Black
he
Pepper
also-
is his son.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my god.
He's not just some random biker.
This is a very complex text. You really have to pay
I
attention.
think I need
You
to
look
watch
away
this
for a
movie
minute.
again for the fourth
Yes.
time. I might finally understand it.
I don't think you will.
Oh my god.
All right, so we're finally in the Hollywood Hills. But
Okay.
before that,
Meeting Black Pepper.
we got a dance sequence.
We have
Okay, so Black Pepper.
Okay, this is
Visualize it in your mind,
this is
guys.
my favorite.
Who does Black Pepper look like? If your first thought is a shitty birthday Hulk Hogan, you are correct.
He looks like Bret Michaels in a terrible
Is this a wig? It's got to be a wig.
wig. Yeah, it's a wig.
it's gotta be a
It's
wig.
the worst wig I've ever
So
seen.
guess
It's-
what? He's not black. He's the whitest, like albino man. You
I'm
can meet.
picturing like, Jim Brown or something like that.
He has like
Mm-hmm.
white blonde hair, long, crimpy.
He looks like kind of like a surfer, California surfer
yeah,
dude.
only he's wearing a bandana.
and like these kind of Jinko overall things.
And first, he watches a woman wearing a Harley jersey just kind of spin around, and you're like, okay, I guess we got a little
That's
dance.
his girlfriend.
Oh, no, it's not over yet.
Oh, belly dance.
Because a belly dancer pops
So
up.
him and his girlfriend seductively drink whiskey and watch a private belly dancing show in their shitty apartment.
And Black Pepper, it's not a shitty apartment. He obviously appreciates Iranian art because it's all over the wall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a very small.
Wait, are you
apartment.
implying that this is John
I would never say so.
John S.
John
Rad.
S. Rad creates his own universes.
Huh.
He doesn't just shoot in his own apartment.
Interesting.
So after the belly dancing scene, we get a sex scene. It's like it hasn't been
Yeah,
enough.
it's been too long
God.
since the
This
last
goes
sex
on
scene.
for so
And I mean,
long.
at least no one's getting assaulted in this, but like, it
Well,
just,
someone's getting licked.
Yeah.
I think in the belly
Yeah,
button.
no,
it looks
again,
like.
there's a lot of like knee play.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just
Black Pepper. He really cares about the woman's pleasure, not.
they call him
You know,
Black
he's
Pepper because
secondary.
he's spicy.
Yeah,
and,
because
and
he likes
makes- and
kissing
he-
her knees
and he makes you
her
sneeze.
calves. And
I mean, the guy definitely had a knee fetish, right? John S. Rad.
I guess
Like,
so. But yeah, then they the cops raid Black Pepper's house, and they keep cutting back to these.
Oh, they're also closed when they have sex.
Oh, yeah,
like-
yeah, of course.
they're clothed.
I mean,
Yeah.
you couldn't. Black Pepper couldn't take off his shorts. That's too,
No.
You know,
Well, she's wearing a
extreme.
bra.
I wonder if he's got like
Yes.
another Hulk Hogan wig like on his like penis.
He's got like what is it called? I'm not even gonna
With
try.
the skullet?
So yeah,
A skullet, but it's like
balls.
he's got like a bandana tied around his
he's like, it hurts so
his
much when I
penis.
have to bleach it.
But the so the cops are making their way through it's like undercover cops person. They're in one of the narrowest hallways I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And like they can single man can barely fit through one of
I
these
think
hallways.
it has to do with the lens they shot with. I don't
Okay.
know.
No.
and we have
I'm
to talk
talking about, like,
the
size.
cops are not the main cop. He's gone from the movie. Oh no, he pops up a little bit later,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. This
Yes.
is the cop that we saw earlier that was
Yeah.
having sex briefly.
the one who made sex with his
So
girlfriend.
he's
There's a-
making his way through the narrowest of hallways, and there's like a gigantic plant to one side of this hallway.
Yeah.
and it's so large,
It's like the space
that this
costume.
guy can't even like make his way around it. It's
Did you guys like that when they cut back to Black Pepper, it suddenly turns into like a French New Wave film where there's like a cut every second
Oh, yeah.
from multiple angles?
That
was crazy.
Again, the editing just goes insane out of nowhere, and that's another reason why I love this movie.
yeah, it's like like Black Pepper. Let's spice up this editing.
By the way, Colin, you haven't picked your favorite thing. and
oh
we're-
man,
we're at the end of
There's
the movie.
So many things. maybe
we haven't
it
made
is
it to the end yet, but
Maybe
we're
it
very,
is.
very close.
I'm getting to it. Black Pepper flees the house, and then meets up with original cop. And
Outside.
David,
this
I
fight
believe.
scene is magnificent. This is the one that was in the
Oh.
trailer and then sold
just standing and punching
sold
each
me on
other.
the movie.
And also, they're like facing the camera, like they're they're spiking the lens and like punching at the camera.
Yeah,
Interesting technique.
And then they cut to like a side by side that was in the trailer, and it's like psha, 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 psha.
Those classic punch sound effects that we love.
Oh, you love them, and boy, do they keep using the same one over and over.
Yeah,
But in this scene, shocker, the cop gets knocked out.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
And old cop, who we have not really...
The chief
kind of finds him, calls an ambulance.
Cowboy cop.
Cowboy cop?
Yeah, and he goes, "I'll get you, you son of a bitch, even if I have to go through hell and high water."
Yes.
We do not know why the chief hates black pepper so much and is so invested in David's well-being.
We don't even know this
We
guy.
don't even know this character or black pepper.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's so iconic, right? Like the Universal monsters.
Yeah.
You can just draw his silhouette and you know who the chief is.
You kind of get it. And it's just like, we've met these characters 5 minutes before the movie ends. So we have a very slow chase up the Hollywood Hills.
They're both
It's so
they're
slow.
Both, like,
They keep going.
sauntering.
They just
up.
keep going higher and higher.
If black pepper does something, you'll see the chief do it
The
more
exact
slowly.
same thing. And then we get to black pepper. This whole end scene is my favorite thing. It's so... It can
Random.
only,
So
This
it can
end scene,
only be
here's my
in-
big reveal. Did you know Black Pepper breaks into a house? There's a woman there, and she's blind.
Yes.
And then he says jackpot or something like
No,
that.
he says it to himself. He's like, could she be blind? What a jackpot or
Yeah,
something like
he-
that.
And then he pulls out a giant knife. And
Okay,
he's like,
first of all, hold on. Let's slow down a bit. He's like looking in. He like takes off his shoes, and he kind of realizes this woman is like sewing. She's doing like cross stitching on her lap, and she's like, "Who's there?" And he's like, "Could she be blind?" Yeah, jackpot. And so he pulls a gun out, and then the cop, I don't know, somehow finds him. This woman, don't worry about it. She pulls out.
She has
pulls
a
out.
gun.
She's got a Luger, a loaded
right
Luger
under her sewing.
under her cross stitch.
and she pulls it instantly
Yeah.
when someone comes in.
She's like, who's there? And just starts
Who's there?
firing blindly
Maybe
into her
she's
house.
psychic.
That'd be amazing.
Yep. And then the chief just comes up, puts the gun in Black Pepper's back, and he goes, "What?" Freeze frame.
Roll credits.
Black Pepper has his hands up. He turns around. The woman is kind of on the side of the frame, like, whoa.
Yeah, all of
That's
three
it.
of our favorite characters.
This is like,
Sharing the frame.
who are these people?
Freeze
What does this
frame
have anything
credit.
to do with the movie that we just watched?
And then I think, theme from Dangerous Men plays. Audience jumps to their feet, applauding, cheering.
Yeah, actually, I think it's the bluesy theme that's like wow, 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 wow. Yeah, it's not the titular theme.
Confusion, disbelief. I don't know.
Did you guys stay for the end tag when they connect all the universes?
motherfucker.
No.
When the parole violator shows up?
Tubi wouldn't
It's like, this is J. Jonah Jameson. It's like, Black Pepper is going to meet up with
Black
Venom.
Pepper's escaped. The Revenge of
What
Black
do you think
Pepper.
Black Pepper's symbiote name would be? Like
Pepper
chili
Black.
flakes or something?
Yeah.
Chili.
It'd just be chili.
Hot sauce.
Picante. That's terrible.
There you go. You got it.
He's a
Black
spicy
Pepper,
boy.
I'm leaving you.
Let me just say, this movie is. I think it would be funner with a group.
Yeah.
Because, hey, it played great when I saw it in theaters. Although I will say I was very confused, obviously, the first time I saw it. The second two
It's
times
part of
we
the
saw
fun.
it, it was just you at home watching it.
Mm-hmm.
And while it is still fun and confusing, it kind of reminds me of Ryan's Babe, where you're like,
Yeah.
what? But
It's got a real Ryan's Babe feel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like random. Are they sure you got the right scenes in order?
yeah,
order.
exactly.
Like the right order?
But like, it is kind of like, it's like a fever dream.
It
You're
is,
like,
yeah.
You're confused. You don't know what's happening, but it's also kind of funny because the acting is terrible.
So, April, where can people find it?
It's available on Tubi,
It's on Tubi.
and
For free.
Tubi's free. Yeah,
yeah, check it out.
And
Watch it with friends, I think. It's if
maybe
you've
not watch it by yourself.
if you've seen it before, it's good just to watch people's reactions to what is a very, very confusing movie. I've seen it 3 times.
Yeah.
I still don't. I didn't know that Black Pepper was that guy's son. Are you sure?
yes, dude.
Yes.
All right.
I mean, it's the sex scenes are awkward, just like they are in The Room,
Yeah.
and in The Room, you feel almost like worse for like the poor actors,
Well,
actresses.
because
and
you know
actors
it's
that
the
had to do
director
it,
kind
and
of
it just
forcing
kept
himself.
going and going. Yeah, at least it's part of more part of the plot in this.
Is
but,
it really though?
It's called
Yeah.
Dangerous Men.
It's integral to the plot. That sex scene with the other cop and his girlfriend who we never see again.
For like 1
Essential.
second.
Yeah. So yes, it's on Tubi. Check it out.
Yeah, it's something.
And if you want to email the podcast, we're at no such thing as a bad movie at gmail.com. And we're on Twitter at no such thing pod. And consider supporting us on Patreon, patreon.com/no such thing as a bad movie. If you're on the $5 level, you will get a bonus episode every 2 weeks. Therefore, every week that there will be content for you. Want to hear us talk about Spider-Man? Well, we did a little episode on Let There Be Carnage. And of course, we had to touch on Spider-Man at least a little bit. That's coming out next week. And there's lots more fun content on the Patreon if you want to check that out. And if you want to find me, I'm on Instagram and Twitter at April Atmansky.
You can find me on Twitter, DeCluJ, DCLOUX, the letter J. And if anyone here liked our episode on Don't Let the River Beast Get You, the Moturn Media guys, Matt Farley and Charlie Roxburgh, have a new movie, Metal Detector Maniac. And it's currently only available on Gold Ninja Video Blu-ray at goldninjavideo.com. Go and pick it up.
My name's Colin. You can follow me on Twitter, Sergeant Zima, SGTZIMA.
Colin, you're going to need to start like selling t-shirts or hats or something like that.
I wish I could talk as
go
fast as you. I just like...
We've done it so many times.
It's because I'm deeply embarrassed by having to sell stuff. Try to get it through it as quickly as
Maybe
possible.
I could just like pre-record something. I could just like hit play on my...
Hey, it's me, Colin. Do you like NFTs?
Hey, hold
Look at
on.
the Colin Cunningham NFT.
Let me just hit play on my
Pre-record
record
and
player.
I'll just edit it in.
Oh, Colin.
Anyway, that's it for this week. Happy 2022, everybody. It's officially a new year.
God almighty.
Yeah.
I wish I could feel a little happier about it, but you know, let's just keep watching terrible movies. Maybe that'll make things.
Yay.
That'll make the medicine go down. I'm April Atmansky.
I'm Justin the Glow.
And I'm Colin Cunningham.
And remember, there's no such thing as a bad movie.
Dun, 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 dun.